Okay, here we are, Saturday night. Just trying to get a few more things set up, guys. Just give me a second. And hey, Todd, how are you? I'm running a little late tonight, so just give me a few minutes to set up real quick, and then we'll get started. Hope everybody had a good week. And had a kind of like a little bit of a crazy week. I spent a couple of days babysitting one of my granddaughters. She was off from school, and mom and dad had to work. So I spent a couple of nice days with her, and got to see my other granddaughter who was still in preschool, who didn't have off, and saw her when she got off from school. So I had a really nice week with that. But it was a little hectic, as you can imagine, watching a rambunctious little 5-year-old. Oh, she's actually pretty good though. But it gets a little tiring. But we had a lot of fun, so that made a big thing for me this week. And I'm just getting my laptop set up so I can see chat in real time, and then we'll get started. Give me one more minute. Kind of lost track of time. I was cleaning up after dinner upstairs and trying to get some stuff ready, and I lost track of time, so just give me a minute here. Up. YouTube. And here we go. Get that in front of me so I could see what's going on. All right, now we're ready. Here we go. Oh, wait. In front of me. And remember to turn down the volume, because we don't want to have the echo like last week. All right, I think I'm ready, guys. Anyway, happy Saturday. I'm glad everybody's here. It's good to see everybody. Hello, Todd. Hey, Steve, how's it going? Let's see. Dundas. James, thank you for joining us. Good to see everybody. Hope you had a great week. And let's see, maybe we'll get started here. Let's get the stuff out that I need to work with. So we're doing something a little different this week. You guys probably saw, if you looked at the thumbnail, we're going to be doing Atlas RS1, Penn Central. And this has been sitting on the workbench for a while. You've probably seen it in the background for the longest time. And I said, today's probably the day I probably should knock this out. So we're going to work on it, do some general grime. I have a prototype picture that I'm going to work off of a little bit. I'm thinking about trying to add a little bit of a patina on the top. I'm not sure yet. Saw an engine that my friend Jerry, who goes by the name of Hunter Houston, if you've seen him in the magazines, different articles, he had a Penn Central unit that he had a nice little patina on the hood on the top. So I might try and go for something like that tonight too. I'm not sure yet. As you know, we kind of fly along and go where the mood takes us with these projects. So if we get to it, we do. If we not, maybe we'll change our mind by then. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But we'll start out with what we're going to be working with tonight. Obviously, we're going to be working with for our grime. Hey, Ron, how's it going? For our grime, we're going to be using RussianEarth again. I did a little experimentation a little earlier tonight, and I'm going to use this neutral wash for the black engine. I know I normally say for black and gray, I like to use the Panzer Blue for dark gray. But as we know, the bottle that I had got spoiled and I haven't ordered a new one. I tried out this neutral gray, and I did the top of the locomotive cab, so if anybody could see it. So I did that earlier tonight, and I kind of like how that looks. So it kind of fades out the black a little bit, gives a little bit of a worn weather look. So we're going to go with this tonight and do the rest of the engine, see how that goes. So along with the RussianEarth and the neutral wash, which is like a grayish wash here, we're also going to have, where is it? Kursk soil. We're going to be using that for a little bit of grime along the gas tank, I mean the oil tank, diesel tank, and along the trucks with a little bit of the Russian earth, or maybe a lighter soil. I'm not sure yet, but maybe I'll get one of those out just to have it. Let me just pull that out, and I go with the where is it? With you call it dark earth. Where's my dark earth? There it is, dark earth, which is a little bit lighter than the Russian earth. All right, so you can tell the difference here. You can see on the bottom of that, and on the bottom of that, you can see the difference in the tones. So we'll experiment with that. I have a little bit in the tray here. I think this is more of the Russian earth in here, but I'm going to add some of the other stuff in there too. All right, so anyway, let's just wait a few seconds for a few more people to get on. Who else has joined us? Willow Creek, thank you. Thanks for signing on and joining up with us tonight. And we already said hi to Ron and James. And let's see, anybody else? Yeah, we have 5 people watching right now. So we'll give it a few more minutes until we start up. Show you some stuff that I picked up during the week. I found this, and if you remember those little eyelid brushes that the girls use, I found this at over at Hobby Lobby, and it was cheap enough that I figured I'll buy it over there. It seems like these are spongy. They're a little bit more. Durable, maybe. So I can use this for some of the more hard to reach areas. All right. I also, what else did I get this week? Oh yeah, I got going for along the lines of my little diorama that I'm going to try and build before the next RPM display for my New York Central road railer scene. I picked these up. This was a steal off of eBay. It was $15 with free shipping. So I think these are normally going for close to $30, $20-something. So, and these are the true, what do you call it? The true, what do they call those? having a brain fart. Anyway, has a removable bogies for the trucks, which is what the New York Central prototype had. Still haven't bought my my cab kit yet from Yelton Models. I got to get a hold of Dan and order that. I was thinking about getting 1 or 2 of those, painting them up, and start working on that diorama. Like I don't have enough projects going on already, but that's typical, I guess, model railroader. We get pulled in different directions. I should really be working on the layout, but I haven't really been doing that. Although I did a little bit with it. I did pick up a NCE power cab because I've still been trying to work out my Raspberry Pi system, and I want to get this up and running so I can start testing and troubleshooting. So I got the power cab very cheaply on eBay, and I'm just going to use that for now, and then eventually we'll switch over to the Raspberry Pi DCC system once I get all the bugs worked out of that, so we can use the Y throttles on the iPhones or whatever the one I use for Androids. I think it's Engine Driver, I think. Anyway, guys, again, it's Saturday night, so of course we're going to have some beer. Me not really drinking alcohol anymore. It's going to be a non-alcoholic beer. Another one from Athletic Brewing Company. I've had this one before on the live feed. This one is the hazy. No, it's not hazy. This is a Run Wild IPA. Slightly different taste than the hazy IPA, but it's still pretty good. So just have some beer. If you guys have a drink, you want to drink along with me. You don't have to have non-alcoholic. You can have alcoholic. So cheers, guys. Happy Saturday. Hope you had a great week, and hope you're going to have a great weekend. It's the spot. All right, so that's really all I bought new this week. I didn't really get anything else. Really got to cut back on what I'm doing with spending money on things that really doesn't pertain to the layout. So, all right, so let me take out some of this dark earth, get the tray ready, start getting my colors out for the weathering, and we'll get started. So you can see the difference between the two pigments here. We got the Russian earth over here, and we have the dark earth over there, which is not darker than the Russian earth, but I'm kind of thinking that this dark earth is going to show up a little better up on this engine, that this engine is black. All right. All right. Cheers. Thank you, Steve. Cheers to you too, sir. All right. All right, so let's get our neutral wash. We're going to shake this up. Oh, hey, Steve, what else I bought this week? When I went to Hobby Lobby, me and Steve had a conversation about doing figures. So they didn't have the Tamiya paints that you use, Steve, but they did have Vallejo acrylics. So I got a couple different shades of where is this one? Flesh color, flesh tones. So I got a dark, so I could do a couple of my friends, like my friend John Terry, because I got one of his figures. A couple of my other buddies, I got some different shades of flesh tone for the bodies. And then I just figured for oils, I have my oil brushers, so I can use some of those for the different colors of the fabric on the clothes and stuff. So I'll try to do some figure painting one of these days, sir. When we get some time together. All right, so where is it? Neutral wash, shake it up, get a pipette ready. And one other thing I see I didn't get prepared ahead of time is some brushes. Got to pull some brushes out too, guys. Let me get this ready first. I also have my odorless thinner, all right, for later on. So those are the things that we're going to be using tonight for this black engine. And maybe we could start a little debate. I know Penzi was Brunswick green, which was almost a black. Anybody have an opinion on whether Penn Central was fully black or was it still Brunswick green? I tend to think they went black. I've never really seen a picture of the Penn Central engines that sometimes, like with the Penzi engine, you can see when you light which is right, you could see that little tinge of green in it. And I don't ever remember seeing any pictures of Penn Central like that. All right, let's get started here. All right, so we're going to put our neutral wash in there. All right, make sure the camera's lined up. All right, so everybody can see how light that is. You're working on your sunflower stash, huh? How many did you get through so far? So I know you said you had to do a lot of them, right? Yeah, Ron, that was a good price on those. I mean, I've been catching some good deals on eBay, which is to my detriment because I really don't have the money to be spending on this stuff, and I've been buying it. So I really got to put the brakes on a little bit and start concentrating on a layout. One of these days, I'll give you guys a little bit of a layout tour, but it's a little bit of a mess up there, and it's not a very big layout. It's just a very small switching layout. So anyway. Halfway done to 50, or did 50? I forget if you had 100 or 50. Yeah, $15 basically free almost. You're right, man. Yeah, it was a good deal. You know, I was just going to use the trailers that I weathered up the other night, but these are actually a lot closer to what I've seen in pictures and stuff. Yeah, These are very close to the ones I've seen in the pictures of the prototypes. So, all right, so let's take a look at the picture that I'm working off of. I'm not going to do it 100% to this picture. But this is out of the Penn Central Power Book, Volume 4. 7500 series engines to the 9999. 9999 being the GE 44 tonner that they had. So I'm generally going to try and go for a look like this one, or I'm going to just use this as a reference, and we'll see how this goes. I'm going to have this off to the side, and I'll turn to it eventually as much as I need to get a look at it, see how we're doing with it. But as you can tell, let me bring the picture back again. Definitely doesn't look like a very dark black. It's been faded. It's a little bit faded. It's weather worn. You can see some grind, especially in the louver areas and on the trucks. So I'm thinking that this natural wash is going to be a good base before we start doing the other stuff on it. All right. Okay. Let me get some brushes real quick. I do not need my oil washers tonight, unless I think of something. Then I'll break them out. But all right. Also, too, I might have mentioned this a week or two ago. I'm going to start putting some of my stuff out on eBay. If anybody's interested in it, try to get some funds up so I can keep this going and buy my supplies. As I mentioned before, I'm going through a lot of stuff. I guess when you're only doing, weathering clinics 2-3 times a year, you're not going to go through stuff, because I don't do weathering all the time. I'm always working on other stuff, whether it's building a model or working on a layout. But now that I'm doing this, I'm finding that I'm starting to run out of models that I got to weather, or I have to weather, and I'm gonna start selling some stuff off, and use that for supplies and for more models. Also, too, within another, I don't know how soon I'm gonna do it, but my friend of mine, Paul Kassier, who most of you know from Around the Layout podcast, he's Ray's indentured servant, who helps him out with the podcast. A lot of stuff behind the scenes. Sorry about shaking the camera. He just retired, and we were talking, and he was come up with an idea about they're going to have this RPM down in Sydney, Australia. I think it's the first time ever of any kind of RPM down in Australia. So that's where Paul lives, and it's him and somebody else are getting that going. And one of the ideas is that Ray's going down there for the RPM, so he's being flown out for the RPM. He's going to bring some models, and he's going to bring some models of people from here in the U.S. to display at the Sydney RPM, which is going to be kind of cool. So Paul came up with the idea. He said, maybe he could send the model over, and I would weather it for him, and he would display it at the RPM as something that I did, but it'd be his model. So he ordered something from Making Tracks, and it came in this week. And he got this Home Shops Allagash boxcar. So the RPM is not till April, so it's not really in a rush to get it done, because he's not going to see it before April. He's not going to be able to get it until Ray brings it to him. So my idea is to get this model done before Amherst, and then bring it up to Amherst and hand my models that I want to display off to Ray, along with Paul's Allagash boxcar. So I'd say probably before Christmas, sometime maybe the beginning of December, we'll make that the subject of one of our Saturday Night Lives. So anyway, enough talking. I got some fresh brushes out. A lot of the brushes that I had for the past couple of weeks, they're pretty well shot, so I tossed them, opened up a new pack, got them over here, and let's get started. I'm going to start with this brush right here. Is Ray here? Hello, Ray. I was just talking about you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here, Ray. I was just talking about Paul's car that he sent me, how I'm going to weather it up, and you're going to take it to the RPM in Sydney. I was talking about the RPM a little bit for Sydney. So hopefully I'll get one or two of my models off to you plus Paul's model, and you can take it with you. All right. All right, so let me put this over here so people can see it. All right, so I'm going to start a little different. Now, what I did with this technique before, it's going to be a little bit different from what we've done in the past. I applied this to the top of the car, on the top of the, what do you call it, to the engine cab hood, and then I let it sit for probably about 5-10 minutes. Let it dry somewhat, and then I went back and wiped it with the sponge. So it's a little different than what we normally do. Normally we're going through with one brush, shrieking down a little bit, and then going back and hitting it with the dry brush and hitting it with the sponge. Especially for the top of the engine, we're going to go a little different by doing it this way. So let me get some wash on there, streak it down the engine, up the hood there. It's not something I invented. This is another technique that I've seen Mig Jimenez use on some of his models. All right, so if you haven't ever gone to his channel, I highly suggest that you go there and watch some of the videos, because even though it's mostly military modeler, they do some railroad models too. They've been branching out to that. His military stuff is very well suited for what we're doing with our railroad models. Get some on top of that grill there. And dig a little bit into the grill too. All right, let's see. Get a little bit more on the brush so I can work it in there. There you go, a little capillary action, get that in there. All right. So I'm going to do the same thing with the side of the engine. I think by the time we work our way around the whole engine, that top should be dry. So as you can see, this is a lot different than what we've been doing in the past. In somewhat of a way, this is really kind of fading the black, all right, without using the oil brushers to do the fading. Because really, what would you fade oil with the oil brushes? You'd have to use white, right? The opposite of black is white. So I think this is going to work out a lot better for that. So you can see that, right? Let's go over here. Get the short hood. Yeah, we're in a little bit of uncharted territory tonight doing this, but the treads. We're going a little lighter on the treads, so. All right. A little bit in the louvers. On the cab side. Try not to get any on the window glazing. And go around the other side now. I think you should, Steve should send his pancake house down to Sydney. That's coming out really good. He was showing me some pictures the other night. With his neon lights. Really cool effect he's doing with that. And again, we're going to go into the louvers. Okay, get the short hood. There's a lot of area to cover on this model. It's a little more complicated than doing a box car or another freight car. It's a little larger, a lot more little nooks and crannies to fill in. But we'll get it. We'll get her done. That's what every cable guy would say. Keep it off the window. All right, let's do the front. And the back too. Just wanted to spread that out a little bit. Didn't want to have too much on there. All right, get the treads. All right, so I already did the roof. I'm not going to redo the roof. All right, just in case you're wondering. You didn't see me working on that, so. I'm going to let it sit for a few seconds, or about a minute. See, we can let it dry up, get a little more tacky. And we'll wipe some away with the sponges and see what happens. Well, in the meantime, we'll take a nice little drink. Cheers, everybody. Working on the silver dollar pancakes. There you go. Very cool. All right, so let's give a little test wipe and see what happens here. And then let it dry a little bit more. Still a little too wet. All right. Spread that out a little bit. All right. Meantime, let's look on the side. Think about it. Think ahead of time how I'm going to work on these trucks. What I've done on engines in the past, and I haven't done it on the live feed, but I've done it when I've done my engines. I've used a very dry brush with the Kursk soil along some of the tanks and stuff like that, and the side edge. And it gives that dried on dusty look to it. So when we get to that point, we're probably going to do that. So, all right. And I didn't do the smokestack. So we might go, not sure how we're going to tackle that either. Okay, wipe the brush off. Sorry guys, knocked into the thing again. Oh, you picked up like chefs and stuff like that and waiters, Steve? Yeah. Cool. All right, see, anybody else join us while we're waiting for this to dry? We got 6 people waiting now? No. All right. All right, so let's see, we gave it a little bit more time to dry. Let's give it another wipe with the sponge. There you go. That's better. Going light wipes with this. Not pressing too hard. Just want to wipe away most of it, but try to leave like a thin film behind. Go easy there, buddy. Almost knocked the horn off the short hood there. So just getting in around the radiator exhaust up top there. Get the short hood. There you go. So you can see it's pretty faint, but I think you could see the difference between the dark black and this more faded black. Oh, cool. Thank you. I have no way of bringing it up on the feed right now. I'm still learning the whole live feed thing with YouTube. So I'm working off of my phone and monitoring with my laptop. So eventually I got to get around to maybe getting a dedicated camera. And but I'll share the photo in the show notes when I get off this live feed. All right, let me get a clean sponge. Let's go a little bit more. Okay. Let's get the sides a little bit. Get another wedge. Okay. See, in here it's a little hard to reach. This is probably where I'm going to need to get in with one of these little spongy brushes. I'll pull one of those out in a little bit. Let me just finish wiping away some of the other areas here. The short hood. Oh. All right, let me pull one of these out. So I got one of these. So I can get in to this little area over here that I'm having trouble getting in with the wedge to the corners. And down here too. All right. Let's move around to the other side. Wipe away some of this. Going with a little firmer sponge here. Now, technically, if I was to disassemble this engine a little bit and pull the handrails off and stuff like that, it might be a little easier to do, but this is all my theory of quick and easy weathering, trying to do what I can without the least amount of pulling stuff apart and spending a lot of time and stuff besides weathering. So, all right, there you go, it's not bad. All right, let's get in on this end here. Let's go in with the wedge here. And finish up with a little guy here in the corner. All right, cool. I don't know if you can see much of a difference, but I do see it's faded slightly. It's got that little hazy, dirty look to it, especially on some of the louvers around by the mating worms here. Let's go to the front. See a little bit down in the corner here I gotta get done. Maybe use this in here too, and around the brake wheel. Okay. Go to this side here. Keep hitting this camera, sorry guys. No. Those Tamiya style pallets, they still have them. Like I was just there the other day and I was looking at them, and I have all the ones that they have available. So yeah, they still got them, and it's pretty cool because it works pretty much the same as the Tamiya. I think it's the same stuff. It's and it's a couple bucks cheaper than if you buy the Tamiya in the hobby shop. Go in the Hobby Lobby. All right. Let's take a look at what we're doing. See if we like this or not. So I think you can see the difference. You can see here's the original black still here, along the fuel tank and the air tank and the battery box. I guess this is a battery box. And then up here is where we've done the weathering with the neutral wash. And I think that's working out pretty good with the black. Just going to touch up a few little areas here before we move on. Because while this stuff is still a little tacky, I want to go in with some of the grime now. All right, so let's get our pigment. Get a clean brush. And like I said, I think I'm going to go with the lighter of the two pigments tonight. Let's see how that works out. I'm going to put a little bit along the bottom. And what I'm seeing on that picture out of the book is that this grime tends to, excuse me, build up around the louvers on the long and short hood. So I'm going to definitely work some into the louvers. Kick some up here. And definitely get some worked into the louvers. Get a little bit into the intakes here on the side grills. Blow off the excess. Work some more of that in again. Again, this is the grime coming up from the ballast, so it's going to be kicking up a little deeper on the bottom than it is on the top there. All right, let's go to the other side. Keep it moving along here. So, not too much there. Work it up. Especially into the louvers. And I'll bring the picture back over and show you what I'm talking about with this. And you can see that. We built it up around the louvers. Let me bring the picture back over and see if I can point it out to you. So if you can see right in this area here where the louvers are, you can see the dust buildup or the grime buildup, and along the top too. So it seems like it's catching a lot of that grime, a lot of that dust. And it's still relatively clean along where the lettering is here, in between the two sets of louvers. You can even see it at the front here. You can see it really built up on this little louver here underneath the 9 over here. All right. So that's what we're doing. Thanks, Steve. So that's what we're working on, getting that effect there. All right. Okay, let's go back. So like I said, I like to stop at a certain point and then go back and look what we did before. So it's the same thing. You can see the build up here. I might take some of that away. Might be a little too much, especially in this light, you can see. Let me go back and see if I can knock some of that away. Worst comes to worst, I hit it with the sponge and the sponge will take some of it away. All right, oops, sorry guys. Yeah. Yeah, James, I think it was last week I hit over, I think I had 103 right after last week's live feed. I got it up to 103, so we're getting there. I think I need 1,000, I think, to be monetized. I don't know. It's a long way off. So I'm not worried about that. I'm doing this more for fun and to share with you guys than to try to get any monetization out of it. I don't know if there's an audience out there that big for this, but we'll see. People like Boomer Diorama, he does pretty good, I guess. So I'm sorry, guys. This camera is just a little too close to the work, and I keep knocking into it. I think I toned it down a little bit. Let me get this little wand here again and just wipe along there a little bit. There we go. That's cleaning it up some. Yeah, Ray, that's what I'm trying to do. I didn't think I would like doing this, and I've really been enjoying doing this every Saturday night. It's giving me something to look forward to on the weekend. And I'm really having fun with this, and I really appreciate you guys being here with me while I'm doing this, because it's a little bit of a learning process for me as far as this whole YouTube thing. I've been a YouTube consumer for many years. I just haven't been a creator. Forgot to do the cab here. So let's knock a little bit up there. I'm sure I forgot the other side of the cab too here, yep. Do a little bit on the bottom here. Yeah, I think ATLP's got a lot more than 50 listeners, dude. I know you're joking around. It's you got a good following because you got a quality product there. All right. Let's go back to the top. So we did the sides. We got our grime on the sides. Now the top. I know I said I wanted to maybe try a little bit of a patina, so let's get a little bit of this rust, just a little bit, the darker of the rust, and put a little bit on the cab roof to see what we can do with that. Like I said, if it doesn't work out, you can always take it away. But I'm looking at this now. I already can see that I like this. I'm going to go with a very subtle. Very subtle. Let's see if you guys can see this. Might put a little bit away with the sponge. Not too bad. I might go back and add more. We'll see. Let's go with some of the dark earth first. I'll wipe that away and then go back with some of the rust for patina. They might go with the RussianEarth around the exhaust stack just to give it a little darker. Some of that into the vents here, into the fan exhaust. Might put a little bit blended with the sponge. Let me go back a little bit more to rust certain spots. This is random. Work that in. So just mixed a little bit of the Russian and the rust together, just to give it a little darker hue. I think under this light it looks a little harsh, but just tone it down a little bit with the sponge. Let's take a look at it now. Wipe a little bit more away, especially on the roof there. James, I'm getting ready to buy one. I keep telling Ray that, but I haven't bought one yet. But I will be buying a bucket hat. So my next trip down to the Caribbean, I can wear it while I'm out sailing on a catamaran and advertise around the layout. I am going to buy one, Ray. I swear I will. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. All right. Sometimes the more you fart around with it, the less pleased you are with it. I don't know what you guys think about this. Let's put it down for a second, get a chance to look at it. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. I'm feeling a little bit parched, so once again, cheers, guys. Got to get a little bit of that dust work into the ends now. Not too much. Get the other end too. And this is like, I'm glad I bought these this week. This is working out really good, getting into these tight spots on this engine. It's not just the covered hopper cars that we have some spots to get into with these. It's also on some of these locomotive bodies. Sorry, I was out of the frame there, guys. Sorry about that. All right, go around here. Get most of that out of there. All right. I think I'm getting the effect that I'm looking for, guys. And looking back at the picture in the book, and it's not going to be an exact match, but you know, I got the dust around the louvers like I wanted to. I think I got a little bit of a patina going on the hood. I'm not sure if I'm totally happy with that yet. Might go back and revisit that. The ends, just trying to clean these up a little bit. Okay, just going to work on the side frame now, and then the trucks and the underbody there. All right, so looks like my neutral wash is drying out in the palette, so I'm going to add a little bit more to it. James, take care. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being here on a Saturday night. All right. Get a little bit in there. We don't need too much. There's the original brush we worked with. What's this one here? All right. So we're going to get our neutral wash and get that on the side frame here. And the battery box. Fuel tank. And on the steps. Work our way around. Quick dip. Work our way around. Okay. Get this end. Spots I missed. Let it dry a little bit. All right. While we're waiting for that dry, anybody got anything new going on this week with themselves? I know I was talking to Steve during the week. I know he's working on his pancake house. Yeah. Me, right. Let's go back to the first side here. Just give it a slight wipe, not much. So we're going to go back over here with the Kursk soil, the dry brushing technique. So we're not going to do too much on this side frame sill here. Just want to kind of have the same fade going on as we have on the rest of the engine. Give this a wipe here too. Okay. I don't know how the weather is for everybody else. It's started getting cold here in New Jersey, and then all of a sudden we got like a second summer going on. It's been in the low 60s. But then we got a nice little Arctic blast coming in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's going to be in the 40s. I'm not ready for winter. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a winter person. I need to be someplace warm and tropical, but that's just not in the cards for me. So at least not right now. A little wipe here with this. All right. We're heading down the home stretch here. All right, so while that's tacky, we're going to hit it with a little bit of dust, not a lot. In fact, I might save this for the Kursk soil effect. I'm going to do that next. So we're going to hold off on the dust for now. We can always add some to the paint later if I need to add that in there. All right, so we're going to go with our Kursk soil now. We're going to work on the side frames and the around the I guess is like a battery box, a fuel tank area, and we're going to add this to it with our dry brush technique. The trucks will get the grime on it right away. The fuel tank and the battery box, not so. I'm going to hold off on that. A nice brand new bottle of Kursk soil. The other one is officially all dried up and done. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of the Kursk soil out of the bottle. We're going to give a little bit of dab on the cloth there. Especially want it nice and dry for these areas down here. Just dabbing it on there. Try to brush off, get a little bit of this dark earth. Get it on there randomly. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. No, in this light it looks a little brighter. but in person, it's the shade that I'm looking for. Let me just add a little bit more touch of this dirt, dark soil, dark earth. Get a little bit on the sills here too. Just spread it out a little bit. All right, yeah, I like that. Let me shut the light out for a second so you guys can see what I'm talking about with the way it looks without all this bright light. Because this is not going to be as much light as you see on the layout. So I like that. All right, so we're going to go back in, and we're going to do our trucks the same way. Get a little bit of Kursk soil on the brush, dab most of it away, and then start applying it to the truck. Around the journal, around the brake rigging, into the springs, the friction journal boxes. Yeah, you're going to have some snow tomorrow, Steve? Yeah. You're a lot further north than I am, so I can imagine that, yeah. Are you close to any of the lakes? You got lake effect snow, anything like Buffalo does, and Niagara area there? All right, let me just get a little bit more on the brush. Dab some of it away. Do the other truck. Okay, so you definitely get the lake effect snows there. You're right by Lake Ontario. What are you using the gouache paint for, Ray? I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Gouache, gouache. And dry that brush off. Get the pigment. We're gonna work the pigment into that paint. Okay, so what I did with this was I did a little bit of the dark earth, and I also just adding a little touch of the Russian earth to this too, just to give it a little different tone. Yeah, it's going to do the same thing on the next truck. Going with the dark earth over the paint. So it's going to blend in with the Kursk soil. And then go back and hit a little bit of the Russian earth. Oh, okay. So Butch does the fading with that. Okay. Is that an oil? I guess that's an oil, right? Maybe that's the brand name of it. I picked up some oil paints too. Just got to remember where I put them. because I have the oil brushers, but I also bought some tube oil paint because they were on sale, 40% off at Hobby Lobby. And figure I just have some of the base colors used for fading too, so I don't have to use up all the, okay, let's knock this off. You can see our trucks. Some nice running grime on the trucks, on the tank and the fuel tank and the electrical box. I'm going to flip this over. Going to work on this side now. Same technique. Sorry, keep hitting this. Get some of the Kursk soil out of the bottle. Put the excess on the paper towel and go in and hit the side of the frame here first. Just kind of dab that on there. A little bit along the side frame, so. Mark that onto the trucks. A little too much here, so I'll take some off. And put it on the truck over here. Dip back into the bottle again, wipe off the excess, and go in and paint the truck and the springs, the brake shoes. Sometimes, especially in the clearance areas of Michael's and Hobby Lobby, you'll find stuff that's very useful. I found paint markers mixed in there sometimes. Found some craft paints that were marked down 50% off. Okay. Okay. Wipe the brush off. Okay. Let's go in with our pigments. Random dabs on the tank and the battery box. And if I'm wrong, if this is not a battery box, please correct me. Get it in the trucks. Working on these trucks here. A little bit of the RussianEarth just to darken it up a little bit. Not too much. Side frame. Yeah, let's knock the excess off and take a look around this engine here, see how we're doing with it. Move some of the stuff out of the way. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this. See if there's anything we want to touch up. Some criticism or what you guys think is much appreciated. Got a dry brush knocking some of this excess out from behind here. Top. Side frames. The other side. Just knock a little bit down off that. This side. The ends. I know it's a lot of focus there. All right, I think I might want to try and go a little more on top. Try to get a little bit more of that patina on the top there. So let me break something else out here. I'm gonna go with my pigment fixer and just lightly wet the area, just slightly, and then go in with the rust pigment and see how that looks. Actually, I used a rust wash. I'll try pigment fixer. Let's see. Hope everybody's. Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate the compliment. I'm my own worst critic, and sometimes like I said, I'll look at things a couple days later and see if it's really up to my standard or not. And it seems like this is okay. This one's good. And so I'll look at it in a couple days. If I have to do any touch-ups, I'll touch up, and I'll let you guys know next week if I did anything to it or not. Last week's project didn't have to do nothing to it. I was kind of happy with it. Looked at it a few days later. The Penn Central boxcar. It was really good. It was nice. So I was happy with that. So, get a brand new pipe bed out of here. And, put a little bit of pigment fixer in the to the dish here. I don't need too much. All right. All right, let me just wet the top a little bit with the fixer. Where I'm trying to get this effect. Then I'm going to go back with some of the rust. And all I'm doing is I'm dipping in the rust pigment and putting it onto the wet pigment fixer. I keep coming up with these tongue-tied things. Odorless thinner, pigment fixer, pigment on the pigment fixer. Tripping myself up. Maybe a tiny bit of lighter stuff there. I don't know if you can see, I have varying shades of rust in here. This is still sitting out from a few weeks ago. clean the brush off. Work some of that in there. Going back with some of the darker pigment. Do some around the base of the exhaust stack too. Okay, I'll let that dry a little bit. And go back with the sponge. Just to blend it in a little bit. See if we notice any difference or not. I think I wiped too much away. Which is not a big deal. Go back with some of the pigment fixer. Add it up there. And what that's done is it's re-wet the rust. I'm going to let that dry more before we do anything else with it. That's the whole thing. You got to have some patience sometimes with this stuff. Blow on it a little bit. Okay, take a breather for a few seconds. Yeah, we are, Steve. Like you said, we're always our own worst critics, right? But you know, I'm always trying out new stuff and then trying to see how it works out. So hopefully this will work out for us. Just getting some of the excess away from the edge there. Trying to blend a little bit out to the edge there too. All right. What kind of beer? And beer and Monster Energy. All right. I tell you what can get you into a lot of trouble is when you start mixing energy drinks with hard liquor. A friend of mine, Tom Schmieder, and myself, you ever have a friend that it's way too easy to get in trouble with? Well, Tom's one of those people. He's a former police officer, retired. We were out at the convention in Detroit quite a few years ago. It was probably because his last one was Grand Rapids, was not Grand Rapids. Was it Grand Rapids? I think, yeah. We were actually in downtown Detroit. And we stayed at the GM, the Hilton at the GM there is where the convention was at, the convention center. And you can go walk a couple blocks in either direction from the hotel and it still was good, but then you get beyond that and it starts getting sketchy. So we were supposed to go operate on John DePauw's layout as one of the obstacle layout things. And we went out for lunch and we found this German bar about 2 blocks away from the hotel. And, you know, we had a couple of beers with our lunch and that was going to be it. And we had a very friendly barmaid, very pretty girl. And she was the manager, she was the manager. And she started buying us drinks and she started buying us vodka and Red Bull. And if if you've ever had a vodka and Red Bull, let me tell you, it's like it's almost like, if I've never done it, but it's almost like if somebody described doing a speedball, drugs. It's like that, because all of a sudden you start feeling drunk, and then the Red Bull kicks in. All of a sudden you get wired, and you're like this wired drunk. It's just a hard thing to explain, but what do you call it? Okay, good. Better off not drinking, Steve. Yeah. One of the reasons why I'm not drinking anymore either, because of things like this. And we wound up staying a lot longer than we probably should have. And then we had to go to this op session. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen John DePauw's layout, but he does the EJ&E. And he's got this couple of huge yards. He's got 2 dispatchers for each division. He's got 2 divisions on there. And it's a very complex layout. And really probably wasn't in the best shape to be there. And I started out with a very simple switching job, and I'm there for like an hour and a half trying to do the simple switching job because I couldn't concentrate. So anyway, that's my story. Stay away from Red Bull and vodka, and you won't get in trouble. All right, so I can see this dried over here. That's a little too light. So see if I can wipe some of that away. Here you go. That's a little better. I want to take a lot of that away. Give that a little pat dry. Pat dry. All right. Sorry, I keep knocking into the camera, guys. I'm going to let that dry. I think we're done. I have mixed feelings about this project tonight. I look at the picture on the in the book, and it's looking like that. It's just in person. Again, like I said, I'll have to look at it after a couple days. Might go back with some thinner and lighten up some areas, or add something to someplace else. I'm not sure. But for now, I'm going to call this done. All right. I'll be taking some after pictures and posting it to the live feed video. So when you watch the replay, you'll see this. Anyway, let's see where we're at. We are at just about 90 minutes, so it's an hour and a half. So I think that's pretty good for tonight. I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you hanging in there, spending your time on a Saturday night with me. Oh, I almost forgot the results of the poll that I did. We had 70% of the people, no, 50% said they wanted to keep it Saturday night. 33% said Friday night. 17% said Wednesday night. So I'm thinking it's just going to be it. We'll just keep going on a Saturday night, and we'll plug along with that and see how it goes. Fading down the color, Ray. I used. You might have missed at the beginning at the feed. I used this neutral wash, so it's kind of like a grayish, hazy grayish color, and that worked out really good. Doing the fade on it, because it's hard to fade black, outside of just putting straight white on it. So that's how we got the fade on the sides, and then around the whole engine with that neutral wash. That's the first time I've used it on anything, so I think it's going to be my go-to for black engines from now on. All right, let's wipe a little bit more of that away. All right, guys, so anyway, thank you for being with me tonight. Thank you for hanging in with me, subscribing. Spread the word. Maybe we'll get more people to join up. Maybe by next week I'll have 105 subscribers instead of 103. But anyway, I always appreciate you guys being here on a Saturday night with me. It gives me something to look forward to. And, you get to spend time with friends. It's always more fun. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, and we'll catch you next week on Saturday Night Live, Weathering with Me. Catch you later, guys.